What's up, guys? It's Lucifer again, coming at you live with another video. This isn't another after raid video where I'm talking about what's going on after our raid and shit like that. No, this is a video talking about something else. The xfer. My guild is transferring to Thrall 1 week from today. 7 days we will be gone from All-Track Mountains. And will be a new guild on Thrall. And like I said, there's a couple things I want to address to the guild before we do this xfer. And like I said, I'm going to apologize. I'll be wiping my nose a lot. For some reason, I've got like a sinus thing where my nose is just running nonstop. It drained back, so I'm still coughing that crap up. And shit like that. So I'm trying to get this taken care of, but you know, that's how it is. First thing I want to talk to is attitude, which I mentioned this on the last video where I bitched about it. I'm not as hot-headed as I was. It's been like another 2 days since then, and I'm not had to deal with the attitude. We've definitely got to change for going forward. We want mythic content. I know I want mythic content. You know, this isn't the greatest expansion. The numbers prove it. I mean, we're already below MOP numbers, and after MOP was at the end of expansion, so MOP was fucking a year into SOO, and WAD still on its first tier raid is already dropped off the radar and below MOP. So the numbers are on an insane decline. I mean, the decline is retarded, but anyways, we are going to a lot better server to where like even the best guild in the server would not even register, would not even be considered just an average guild over there. We've definitely got to change our attitude, though. I mean, there are some things that we need to change. Bitching because you didn't get a piece of gear. Getting mad you didn't get a piece of gear. Dogging people out for days because they take a piece of gear. I mean, nothing against it. I still gave Catface shit about the axe. Whatever, it's his choice. He wants to do it. That's him. Whatever. You know, try to point out the flaws of taking it. But after that, let it go, guys. The attitude that we're wasting our time, we don't want to be here, blah, 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 QQ, whatever, cry me a river, that has got to stop. We've just got to change that. We're going to be on a server, like I say, a lot better. I keep mentioning that. You know, I sound like a broken record with that, but it's just the attitude. We cannot progress with that attitude. Because we're not going to keep people on a server like that with that attitude, because if they have that attitude, they're just going to go to another guild that doesn't have that negative environment. And that guild will be just as good, maybe better than us. The other thing I'm entire, you know, I was told, I don't take any advice, I'm a dictator. Last time I checked, I listened to Malice's expansion. I took Tybear's advice on a few things. I have taken multiple people's advice and went with what they suggested, and I'm a dictator, though, that never changes my habits. Now, I don't know what the hell y'all think a dictator is. Maybe you need to brush up on fucking English, but that's not a dictator. I am basically a leader. I have people who come at me with suggestions. I look at the suggestions and say, do I think this suggestion will help, hurt, or be worth nothing? And that's basically what I do. Sometimes I am hesitant on some suggestions, like Malice wanting to kick people out as soon as we start struggling. Oh, we're struggling, we need to start cutting some weight. I don't like doing that. I want people to get better, and that's probably one of my biggest flaws, is the weaker people in the raid. I really strive for y'all to improve, to become a better raider, and, oh God, something got my eye. But I really strive for y'all to improve, become better, and become a full-fledged member of the guild. And that's probably my flaw. I'm not going to lie. I have kept players that have held us back a little bit longer because I'm just hoping it'll click for them and they'll just pull it all together. And I mean, I do that, and that's probably one of my biggest flaws, is I have too much faith in people and shit like that. But sometimes Malice is right, and I've had to cut people, even officers, out of raids on fights. Example is Natalie on his rogue on Imperator. Natalie says he had to sacrifice DPS to survive, whatever his reasoning was. But in the end, he wasn't pulling the numbers for us to kill the boss, so I had to bench him to get that kill. You know, and I benched him one night and we didn't get it, and I benched him the next night, we didn't get it. When we came back that third night, we did get it, like early on too, like I think like 5 or 6 attempts in. And then next week we got to him, I was able to keep him in, and we got it in. We got him in and got the kill. You know, it's just how it is. Now, something I don't like to do. I'd like to see everybody improve. I always am saying, improve your character each week. That's just how I feel, guys. All right, now I want to take this moment to say, guys, we've got to improve, like I just said, improve our characters. But some people, I know there ain't much room for improvement. I mean, you got like a Kahlo, Gaz, Dre, Soul J, Hat on his tank, Cross on his Druid. I mean, there's not much room for improving when I've got them ranking on fights consistently. You know, there's not much I can improve on that, except for Dre. Dre's not ranking, but he's still in the top of his class. It's just, there's a lot of fucking unholy DK, so it's hard to rank. Then I got people that are good, but need to take that next step up. I mean, let's see. I'm not saying that they're bad at all. They're good players. Oh, also in exceptional players, Napa is up there too. I did not mention him. Napa is up there. I have good players. Good, maybe great in some aspects. Hobbs is definitely a great player. I want him to become a ranking player. Honestly, I want Hobbs to start ranking. But I say Hobbs' character, maybe just figure out 1 or 2 things different, and he can start ranking every time. I don't know why he's not ranking. He seems to do great in the raids, but he's just not to that ranking stage yet. And then I got other players that are good players that need to figure it out. That I bring to every fight, but you're just not. You're good, but you're not exceptional. Blood Nova, Natalie, Haida. You know, so I can't think of everybody off the top of my head. I'm not looking at a list of all my players, but they're good. But then you're not going to self-fight. So I'll give you examples. Blood Nova is a good DPS at times, but sometimes he's a little bit lower in DPS compared to the other 2 DKs. And then there's at times where he dies to impale 50 fucking attempts. You know. Anyway, Natalie's a good DPS, usually number 2 here lately on Unholies. But then he fucking dies to massive destruction almost every time. Well, not every time. Every second or third time it comes down, he dies to it. Haida is good, usually in his mechanics. But then you look at the fights, and there's some fights he's pulling 40, 45k DPS, and there's some fights he's pulling 25k. And it's like, that big of a variation, you need to find a way to, I know it's AoE versus single target, but there shouldn't be a point to where you're beating tanks, and then you're below, or right there, barely beating tanks. It needs to be, you need to be up there near 30 now, especially with item level. So you need to figure out what is missing to just round that off to get that in the upper echelon. I'm not saying he's bad at all. I'm just saying, I just want to see him improve to get out of the radar of people wanting to cut him. Because I had to bench him for a fight for Blackhand. I think I benched him for Blast Furnace too, because he just wasn't doing the numbers. And I'd like for that to stop happening. You just figure your shit out, round it off, figure out your class, and get done. There's just people that want to raid that have a long way to go. Haida's wife is a Furia, I think. She's a decent DPS. Her numbers are decent for her item level. But she dies to on mechanic almost every fight. You know, so I don't know if she wants to raid, but she did come to a raid with us, and it just freaking destroyed her. And then we have Krenith, Blood Nova's Mike friend, who is a lock, who lived on every fight, but got beat by both tanks on every fight, and that's unacceptable. Especially when your lock outgears my DK. So you have a character, a DPS character that outgears my tank, and I'm beating you in DPS, and I'm not doing top DPS. It's not like I'm doing fucking 50k on that like some people can do. Alright. One thing that will change in Thrall, though, guys, once we get to Thrall, I am no longer going to be taking alts or fucking carries until we have full cleared the raid. Nothing against that. You know, there's nothing against that. I know some people can play good on multiple characters. Archie's a good elemental shaman, and he's a good hunter. Akalo's a good paladin and monk healer, but it's just, we need to stop the time it takes to switch characters, summon that character, switch back. We need to stop wasting that opportunity on that shit. We need to focus on clearing this shit so we can actually get done with it and stop worrying about gearing up our other characters. Our first goal should be AOTC as fast as possible. Now, once we have full cleared it, and we've cleared it twice, and, it's pretty much, we cleared it the second time and had relative ease with it, didn't spend hours on a boss, then, yeah, we can start talking about bringing alts in on heroic nights, or maybe on Saturdays when we have our alt run, do it then, but not on our main run. Now, several people are changing classes with the new transfer. They see this opportunity, especially a big opportunity, to switch with mythic dungeons coming up, a chance to get gear quickly, and shit like that. And I am one of them. I'm switching from Druid to DK. My numbers I've already looked at. My DK's numbers killed my Druid. We were doing good with my Druid, so we should continue with my DK. The only fight that will be a massive difference is Iron Maidens, because my Druid has a lot more dodge than my DK, but it should not be a crippling change. Just instead of getting AoE break, the AoE break from Marok, he does less when I'm using defensives, which means I'll have to save defenses for that point and just try to keep defenses up that entire time with Marok. So we're getting AoE every time, but it's less of an AoE instead of more. And we will play it by ear as it goes. It's just how it goes. But for the people who are changing, like Mal's talking about changing to a hunter. Catface wants to change to a lock, mainly because the Vanquisher token, we are overwhelmed on that, even though we lose in 2. There's just some people are thinking about switching classes in this. Cross has thought about maybe going tank, and Hat wants to go back DPS. That one I'm a little worried about, because I don't want to lose a ranking healer and then plug in 2 mediocre healers. Just saying, I just don't want to do that. That one kind of scares me above all else. Had I know it was a solid DPS, I'm sure Cross would be a solid tank, but it's finding a solid healer to replace Cross. I don't, and with the switch, guys, I don't want no more switching, honestly. Like, you get your character, don't switch him and then switch him back. No, you're switching, this is a character I expect you to raid on here to the end, unless it is a need of the guild that you switch to something else. Like, I don't want you switching between... We'll use a Call. Call's got 5 healers, I think. And I don't want to call... I'm playing a Paladin. Once this Paladin's decked out, I'm going to switch mains to my Monk and play as one. And then I'm going to switch mains. No, I don't want that. I'm not saying he would do that ever. I'm just using an example because I know he's a character that has multiple players on the same playstyle. And it's nothing against nobody. I just want it to be focused. I've done said I'm going to get rid of all my other characters probably. I'm probably going to delete my Druid. I've already deleted my Lock. I'm probably going to erase my characters and just take my one character over there so I have no tie-ins. And that's just my personal choice. But guys, just remember this. When you are changing, you need to pull the number still. I don't want you to be below par and shit when you change, and then me have to bench you. I hope you know you can play your class effectively and be a decent player. Because if you're not, I will have to bench you. I benched one of my officers because he wasn't to par, so I don't want to have to do that to you. Make sure this class switch fits you. And as I just wrap it up, guys, save your money, get ready. We're entering a whole new world. Yes, a line, whole new world, whatever. But it is a big change. Everybody that's coming, thank you for coming. Thank you for still being loyal to the guild. Thank you for spending the money to stay with this guild. Those that aren't, Moxie isn't, Tiber's done left. Apparently Kleptos has left. Hobbs, I know, is undecided. If you do choose to stay on the server, it was a fun time when you remember the guild. I did appreciate you being here. I'm sorry that the move to try to help us get into Mythic is not what's right for you. And I wish you the best of luck on the server that is Alterac Mountains, even though it's a pretty bad ship right now. Other than that, guys, you have a good night. Get ready. The transfer will probably, I will probably transfer my DK with the guild, probably around, probably early, probably around 9 or 10 when I get up. No, it'll probably be about 11 or 12 when I put my daughter down for a nap, and I actually have the time to go through. I'll probably 12 on Saturday, roughly, is probably about when I'll transfer. And other than that, guys, you have a good one. See you for raids. Our last raids on Alterac Mountains may not be as hard as the other ones, because I may be a little more lax than we have been. Just because this is the last raid before transfer. We may not even go both nights. I may just go one night to get a little bit of gear before the transfer, so we're not burnt out, and then nobody gets on the transfer. But other than that, guys, see you on Thrall. I'll see you on the raid, then I'll see you on Thrall. Lucy out.